Hello, AP Government. It is great to get to check in with all of you as we get started on fourth quarter together. Now that we are an online school, so this is going to be a format for us that we'll use pretty consistently now moving forward for as long as we go online. You can expect every week you'll get video or videos from me, at the very least doing a check-in, sometimes with lessons and notes for you to take. Which I'll always then send a Word document with it digitally typed as well so that you can see it and reference it so you can follow as best as you can. Each week then, in addition to the videos, me checking in, you're also going to have assignments and activities that'll get submitted to turnitin.com, as well as then discussions to have on turnitin.com too, as we all kind of work through this situation and this content all together at this time. With that, one thing just to say off the bat, College Board at this time hasn't indicated that they're going to cancel or even postpone AP exams. So as far as where we're at right now, we are planning on AP exams still happening when it's supposed to happen. And so with that, we keep moving through the pace of this class in the way that we were planning on originally. So first thing to say with that then is we're going to maintain the reading schedule as we determined at the beginning of this semester. So the reading schedule is get those pages read by the days that are assigned there. However, because we don't have you in person and in class, I'm not going to be doing reading quizzes. I'm not going to be doing reading-based write-ups. I'm just putting that on you to be able to maintain reading. I would very much recommend you take notes based off of what you read, keep those flashcards going for vocab and things like that. I'm also, moving forward, not going to be really doing a test element to this class. I just don't think that's going to be helpful in an online setting to be able to do tests. We're going to try to focus really on working through content and trying to learn it together and connect it to what we see happening today. I will still send you out test-style questions, both multiple choice and open-ended responses, so that you still get to practice with questions that are like the AP exam to get you prepared for the AP exam, because that's my commitment to you, is to get you prepared for that. However, they are going to be more intended as progress checks and things that are helping you move forward and practice. They're not going to be hurting your grade or counting against you in any way. It's more progress and practice moving forward. So that's a couple things right off the bat to make sure we're all on the same page about. So keep reading according to where it is without having to worry about reading quizzes or tests. Cool. With that, this week and the next few weeks, we are now starting the Civil Rights and Civil Liberties unit. It's in this unit that we're going to be exploring some big picture questions, including how the Constitution is written in ways to limit abuse of government power, which we've done a good job of prepping for that already. We're going to look at ways in which civil rights and liberties are also protected through language of the Constitution. We'll also then really dive into some Supreme Court cases in this unit. And how different Supreme Court decisions, when it comes to civil rights and liberties, have impacted American society over time, how sometimes those decisions have limited and restricted the rights of people, and then how at other times then have moved to actually protect and expand the rights of people over time. So we have a lot of Supreme Court cases that we really get to start diving into. In my mind, that's a really fun part of this class that I'm disappointed we don't get to do an in-person element of, because there's plenty great open-ended conversations that we can have. So we're going to try to keep a discussion element on turnitin.com to hopefully maintain that a little bit. But for you this week, what's expected of you? There are 2 assignments and 2 discussions for you to actually work your way through by Sunday evening this week. Each week, the Sunday at the end of the week will always be kind of our make sure everything's in by this point. I'll also week to week give you suggested get this done by this day, kind of more of a suggested pacing guide for you each week so that you're not just trying to wait till Sunday. But the formal due date of everything is always going to be Sunday at the end of each week. For you this week, you have 2 Supreme Court case studies to do. which you'll see as assignments listed on turnitin.com, which you'll type up and then submit to those areas. The first case is Engel v. Vitale. The second is Wisconsin v. Yoder, which are some really interesting freedom of religion cases for us. In your Supreme Court case studies, what I'm looking for is for you to talk about the context of the case, the whole what's the story, why did the case happen in the first place, the decision of the court, what the vote was, and why the Supreme Court actually made the decision that they did, as well as then what the impact of the case is and has been moving forward from that case. In your talking through the decision of the court, I am expecting that you're going to do a little work to kind of read through and look through like the majority opinions of each case to say why the Supreme Court made the decisions that they did. In impact of the case, I'm looking for you to be less opinionated and more formal for the assignment portion of this. Meaning I'm wanting you to say, this decision has created kind of the following dynamics in this nation, or at least like sets a precedent for religion to be interpreted in the following way in the future. With that then, we're also going to have some discussions on turnitin.com. So you have 2 to do this week, 1 for each of those Supreme Court cases. This is then when you're able to actually respond with your personal thoughts, feelings, opinions to each case. In a respectful and helpful manner, of course, but you are welcome to be opinionated in the discussion sections. I want you to respond to the Engel v. Vitale discussion by saying your thoughts on the decision. You can start with the whole did you like it or not like it. You don't have to do the whole critiquing the court if you want. You can just more have your discussion be based off of what you think about what that case does for American society in general, and the freedom of religion. When it comes to then understanding our cases, there's a couple of things that I want to make sure I'm saying to you in a teacher kind of way. So I would recommend right now just pause the video quickly to grab some notes. I'm just going to say a couple things. It's really 4 main things overall that I want to say that I would encourage you to write down. That'll help for your working through these cases. They're essential aspects of this unit as well. So here we go. The four things. Okay. Really, it's 2 big categories, and then each category has 2 things. That's how I got 4. So if that's how you want to structure things. Category 1, 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is a crucial, essential part of the Constitution that really cements and provides a foundation for civil rights and liberties. Now, if you hear that and you think, well, isn't the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, isn't that what civil rights and liberties is all about? And the answer is yes, kind of. When the Constitution is ratified with the Bill of Rights, Amendments 1 through 10, protecting all these individual rights and liberties, there was no language that made states have to actually adhere to those policies, to those protections and guarantees. So really the effect of it then is the Bill of Rights before the 14th Amendment are basically just strong recommendations from federal government to states, really saying it this way, that in the United States, we support the freedom of religion. We support freedom of speech. We support the right to bear arms. But then it's left up to states on how much do states want to actually honor those guarantees. The 14th Amendment, if you check your pocket Constitution, and if you have it, pause the video, open up the Constitution, and then play the video again. The 14th Amendment, as you'll read through it, you'll see that there's 2 parts of the 14th Amendment that are crucial. And here's our 2 aspects that we're writing for 14th Amendment. Aspect number 1 is incorporation doctrine. That's INCORPORATION. Incorporation. The incorporation doctrine stems from the portion of the 14th Amendment that mandates states incorporate all of the guarantees and protections of the Constitution and its amendments into their state constitutions. Here's what that means. That means that even if a state doesn't write in all state residents have the freedom of speech, they still have it because the federal government guarantees it. Basically, it forces the Bill of Rights and its guarantees into state constitutions, even if it's not formally written. The second part of the 14th Amendment that's crucial is the Equal Protection Clause, which says that all citizens are guaranteed equal protection under the laws. Next week, we'll kind of explore a couple cases that go different ways with the Equal Protection Clause, one in which it's used to restrict and one in which it's used to actually protect. Our goals in applying 14th Amendment to our cases for this week are seeing freedom of religion and how it then gets incorporated into states, as well as then looking at equal protection and how every citizen is intended to be able to be equally protected under the law, equal treatment, equal guarantees. Our second category with our next two things, which are then specific to these cases, our First Amendment, that's the category, or freedom of religion in the First Amendment. Our two things are this: the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. Keep in mind, the Establishment Clause says that Congress may not pass any law that is regarding the establishment of religion, meaning that government can't endorse or promote any religion of any kind in an individualized sense. And the second then is the Free Exercise Clause, which is the tagline to the Establishment Clause. It says Congress can't Congress can't make a law regarding the establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof, meaning Congress can't pass any kind of law inhibiting and prohibiting and restricting individuals and communities who are then putting their religion into practice, as long as that practice isn't infringing on someone else's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, as we've talked about before. Our cases this week are interesting. Engel v. Vitale, you'll see, is a good Establishment Clause case. Wisconsin v. Yoder is a good Free Exercise Clause case. I'm interested then in seeing kind of your takeaways, your discussions, and your responses to those things. So with that then, moving forward, keep up on your reading. For this week, get your 2 case studies done. Get your discussions for each one. In your discussions, I'd like you to respond to the prompt and then also respond to 2 other classmates within each discussion. So all in all then, by Sunday, you have 2 discussions and a total of 4 comments to make on other people's posts too. Ask each other questions, further conversation, make other points. Just have discussion further and comments as you're all in the discussions there. That is all then for this week. Moving forward, next week, we've got more Supreme Court cases as well as some more constitutional study to get to do together from there. In the meantime, blessings on your week. I miss all of you here in the classroom. I'll be praying for all of you at this time. And until the next video, I'll see you all online.